You're closer than you've ever been. The thing you've wanted for years is finally within reach. And that is exactly when you do it. You miss the email. You pick the fight. You skip the one meeting that could have changed everything. You tell yourself you were just tired, just busy, just unlucky. But underneath all of it, a quieter voice already knows the truth. You did this again. And the people around you are confused. They call you your own worst enemy. They say you must not want it badly enough. But what if that's completely wrong? What if the part of you that pulls the plug right before the finish line isn't broken at all? What if it's trying to protect you? Stay with me, because this one runs deeper than almost anyone admits. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. Self-sabotage was never about laziness. It's about safety. Your nervous system has one job that's far older than your ambitions. Keep you alive, keep you in the familiar. And to your brain, familiar means safe, even when familiar means small. Success is new. Success is exposure. Success is a place you have never survived before. So when you get close to it, some ancient part of you reads it as a threat. Not a reward, a threat. And where did that wiring come from? For most people, it started long before they can remember. Maybe love in your house came with conditions. You were praised when you performed, and you disappeared when you didn't. So your brain learned something dangerous. My worth is my usefulness. My safety depends on never falling. Or maybe you were praised for things you couldn't repeat. Lucky wins, accidental successes. And quietly, you started to believe you'd been overrated, that one day they'd all find out. In 1978, two psychologists, Edward Jones and Stephen Berglas, gave this behavior a name. They called it self-handicapping. They noticed something strange. When people weren't sure they could repeat a success, they would hand themselves an excuse in advance. They'd stay up too late. They'd refuse to prepare. They'd build the obstacle with their own hands. Because here's the cruel logic underneath it. If you fail because you didn't really try, that doesn't mean you weren't good enough. It only means you didn't try. Your ability never gets tested. Your self-image survives the fall. So read this slowly. You're not sabotaging your success. You're protecting yourself from a verdict. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the project you abandon at 90%. The relationship you blow up the moment it starts to feel real. The opportunity you somehow forget about until it's just barely too late. It's procrastination that only ever shows up on the things that actually matter. Notice that? You can fold the laundry, answer 40 emails, reorganize your entire desk. But the one thing that could change your whole life? That sits there untouched for weeks. That's not a discipline problem. That's fear wearing a very convincing disguise. A psychologist named Hendricks gave another piece of this a name. He called it the upper limit problem. His idea is simple and a little haunting. Each of us has an internal thermostat, a setting for how much success, how much happiness, how much good we will let ourselves feel. And when life climbs above that setting, the thermostat quietly kicks in. It cools everything back down. You get the win. And within days, you manufacture a problem, a conflict, a worry, a reason it can't possibly last. You're not unlucky. You're regulating. You're returning yourself to the only temperature you've ever known. But not everyone who self-sabotages is doing it for the same reason. And this is where it gets personal. For some, it's the fear of failure. If I never fully try, I never fully fail. The dream stays safe in your head, perfect and untouched. For others, it's the exact opposite. It's the fear of success. Because success changes things. It raises the expectations. It makes people watch you. It means next time you have so much further to fall. And for a third group, it's something quieter than both. A belief buried somewhere deep that you simply don't deserve it. That good things are for other people. That if you reached out and took it, something would be taken back. So before you go any further, sit with one honest question. When you pull away at the finish line, which one is it for you? Failure? Success? Or the belief that it was never really meant for you? Only you know the answer. And the fact that you're even willing to ask, that already changes something. There's one more layer here, and it's the one that tends to hurt the most. In 1978, psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes described what they called the impostor phenomenon. It's the experience of high achievers who simply cannot believe in their own success. They look at everything they've built, and they feel like a fraud, like they fooled everyone, like they only got lucky. And here's the trap that creates. If you secretly believe you're a fraud, success doesn't feel like relief. It feels like risk, because the higher you climb, the more there is to expose. So you pull back, not because you don't want it, but because winning means being seen, and being seen feels like danger. Sound familiar? So let's say it plainly. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are not your own worst enemy. You are someone whose nervous system learned a very long time ago that staying small was how you stayed safe. And it worked. It kept you safe. It did exactly what it was built to do. But you are not that child anymore. And the danger that wired you, it isn't in the room with you now. You're allowed to want the thing. You're allowed to reach the finish line. You're allowed to be seen succeeding and survive it. And here's the part that actually sets you free. You don't have to win a war against the fear. You only have to recognize it when it arrives. The next time you're close, the next time the urge to burn it all down shows up right on schedule, you can stop and name it. This is the thermostat. This is the old alarm. This is the part of me that still thinks I'm in danger. And naming it loosens its grip, because that fear was never trying to ruin you. It was trying to save a version of you that no longer needs saving. So you can thank it, and then you can keep going anyway. Because the people who finally break this pattern aren't the ones who feel no fear. They're the ones who learn to feel it and cross the finish line anyway. So if you've ever stood at the edge of something good and watched yourself walk away, hear this clearly. You're not broken. You're not alone. And you are not stuck. You're just one honest moment away from doing it differently. If this reached something in you, stay a while, subscribe, and let's keep untangling the quiet patterns that have been running your life. And leave a comment with just one word, the thing you've been standing at the edge of. Because maybe saying it out loud is where it finally begins. Nothing was ever wrong with you. You were only protecting yourself from a danger that's already gone. Like, share, and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but so the next person who needs these words actually finds them.